welcome back to my channel. Today, we'll be talking about Your Love Belongs to Me by Honoji Tokita. Now, before we get started, we do need to talk about spoilers. There will be some, so if you don't want to be spoiled on this manga, then go ahead and click off now. I'll catch you next time. Now, if you're all good with spoilers, we do need to talk about some content warnings. In this particular manga, there may be references to threats of rape, sexual assault, kidnapping, drugging, and harassment. If you're all good with that, though, let's get started. So let's start out with a synopsis. Mochizuki and Ishio have a lot in common. They're both captains of their respective martial arts teams, have secondary sexes, and they hate each other. Mochizuki is an Omega and Ishio is an Alpha, but they aren't drawn to each other. The only reason they interact at all is that they are forced to share a dojo, which results in numerous skirmishes between the teams. To assert their dominance, the two captains spend much of their time trying to embarrass or fight each other, with little to no success. One day, while Mochizuki changes in the dojo, Ishio walks in on him. It's then that Mochizuki notices how shy and nervous Ishio gets around him when it comes to anything remotely sexual or affectionate. With this new insight, Mochizuki changes his method of harassing Ishio, which entails hugging, cuddling, and all but sexually assaulting him. Naturally, Mochizuki is beyond pleased with this development until Ishio makes it clear if Mochizuki isn't careful, Ishio might just mark him as his. First, let's talk about the artwork. The cover really doesn't do this work justice. This is gorgeous. Mochizuki, in particular, is lovely. He's a perfect mixture of the stereotypical Omega traits we see, with them being beautiful and feminine, but it also spins it with him being bulky and hypermasculine. His face is stunning. I'm not sure what it is about this art style, but something about the way the artist draws faces is just absolutely everything. If you're big on art, I have no doubt that this will surely please you. I plan on hunting down everything from this artist as soon as possible and spending all my money in the process. Now, while the artwork is stunning, to say the least, the story is a bit superficial and pretty stereotypical in regards to yaoi or manga in general. However, I will say I did really like that the Omega Mochizuki is an athlete and is just as strong as his alpha partner. That was a nice change of pace for an Omegaverse story. However, it was undercut by the appearance of the alpha female character. I love the introduction of the alpha female, and I wish she had played more of an active love interest role, but she ended up being a chaotic villain. She ends up drugging and kidnapping Mochizuki to hurt Ishio. Her reasoning for doing so is severely lacking, simply because she hates how happy and carefree his life has been. I really dislike how random this all felt and how misused the alpha female was. This story is so great because of how down-to-earth and fun it was before the random kidnapping. These two boys fighting amongst themselves, learning about their sexual preferences and needs, and growing from enemies to lovers is the best portion of the story. I wish we'd stayed on that same track rather than introducing a chaotic villain just to create some random tension. Also, I'd really liked it if the alpha female had been used as more of a legitimate love interest. I think it would have been interesting to see a male alpha and a female alpha rival each other, especially when the one they're vying for is a bulky male Omega. Oh well, I can dream, I guess. Finally, I have to talk about the length of this one. It's so short, even for a single volume work. Especially if you consider the random inclusion of the kidnapping scene and all the time spent building up to the alpha female being revealed as a chaotic villain. Since this was advertised as mature on Tapas, I had expected more sexual content. However, there are really only two scenes, one of which happens at the end of the main story and the other that occurs during the epilogue, and that's it. Once again, I wish we could have forgone the whole kidnapping thing altogether and maybe we could have had a more sexy time, or we could have explored more of their future relationship. Either of which I would have enjoyed way more than that whole scenario. I love how this manga looks so much. It's really hard to say that I dislike it. I do think it had tons of potential, but it devolved into your standard, unbelievable, tropey, chaotic villain plot thing. I'm so glad I read it because I found a new artist, but this is missing many of my favorite aspects of Yaoi and Omegaverse, such as the sexy time for Yaoi and the pregnancy in Omegaverse. If you haven't read anything by this artist, it may be worth it just to check out the beautiful artwork. However, this is probably a miss if you're looking for a deep and interesting Omegaverse. It is also worth noting, as of today, this is no longer available on Tapas, so I'm not even sure that you can read this legally anymore, which is really unfortunate. I do encourage everyone to please read legal if you can. Have you read Your Love Belongs to Me? If so, what do you think? Do you agree with my assessment? Do you not? Let me know and comment below. Otherwise, I'll catch you next time. Bye!